From the PSIA-AASI satellite studios at Mount Hood Meadows Ski and Ride School in Mount Hood Meadows, Oregon. Yeah, we're quite a ways up Mount Hood. I'm here with instructor trainer Jen Lockwood. You're actually the training manager of the Ski and Ride School, correct?
I am. I'm the training coordinator, so I oversee all disciplines training here at the mountain.
And I know the title is instructor training with Jen Lockwood, but we're going to start out by talking about being a mom because Jen is really making a sacrifice to join us today. Her son's been competing in a freestyle competition.
He's in the middle of competitions. He was training yesterday,
Oh, he was
getting
training.
ready for a competition.
And what happened?
Well, he had a really great training run, and then on the second attempt, to refine his skills, he kind of under rotated and hit his noggin a little bit. So we're dealing with some concussion protocol to try to get him clear. The good news is his symptoms, he seems fine. He hasn't had any symptoms since the fall. And so we're hoping we can get him clear for a competition on Wednesday.
So how are you able to come to work? You know your son's going through this. He's 7 hours away. You want to go down and watch, and you're really in an upheaval right now.
Yeah. It's a juggle of our winter season. I think, there's a lot in play. So anyways, decision making is hard on that, wanting to be mom, but allowing him some independence as well.
Spoken like a true skier. Spoken like a true slider on snow. How's that?
Yeah.
So what we'd really like to connect with you on, Meadows, you had an incredible turnout for divisional team training last year, or tryouts last year. And how many of your staff ended up being selected for the Northwest team?
New staff selected. We had 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh, it's hard to count. I think we had at least 3 join our ed staff last season. We have more than that on our staff as a whole, but for the tryout last season, 3.
So when you're putting your training team together, you have so many people now that are on the divisional education staff. How do you choose? You've got a lot of great trainers up here.
Yeah, we're really fortunate. We have a lot of team members, but that also means that there's a lot, those trainers are traveling. They're not only serving our instructors here, but they're serving across the region. And so there's times where we are lean on trainers. And so
really, because they've gone to other areas.
Because they're having to travel to lead PSIA and AASI events across the region. So we need to have backups to fill in.
Which is why I'm here.
Yes, exactly.
So another thing, so when exam season is coming up, you must be really lean.
Yes, we get lean because our ed staff and our technical team members, those that are examiners, as well as specialist examiners, those leading children's and senior and freestyle specialists are all traveling this time of year. So we have a very deep alpine side of trainers. Our telemark side is growing, so we're really excited about that. And we are growing our snowboard side as well as our Nordic. We have great Nordic trainers as well.
You also have some really good adaptive people up here.
Yes, let me not leave out adaptive, because our adaptive team is amazing and are doing great things here as well.
And in the Northwest, I know there's a lot of visitor schools. Does Meadows have its own adaptive program? I know you have a number of instructors who are highly certified in adaptive.
Yeah, so we do offer adaptive lessons to our guests here at Mount Hood Meadows, and that is something that is growing, and thus the need that we have to grow instructors with an adaptive focus.
It's great to hear. And I know I've seen adaptive trainers' names on a lot of things because it's great teaching. I mean, we say that a lot, but it really is great teaching. And so do you do a lot of combined clinics with combined disciplines here?
That is definitely something that we are developing and growing here is as one of our ed staff members, Emily Hurl, on the snowboard side, every lesson is an adaptive lesson. And so we definitely want our trainers to expand their skill set because it only makes them a stronger instructor.
Like today is the last night of night trainings, and we actually have a pretty well-attended training coming up on play, and that's totally open to anyone who's sliding on snow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to grow a culture that our instructors realize that all clinics can be exam prep clinics. Ultimately, we want to build our goal is to make better instructors to serve our guests here, but that all clinics can help them prepare for the PSIA-AASI exams as well.
And we were talking a little before we started recording. There is some great way to prep online.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about that? Because there's a lot of knowledge up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of great resources available for instructors training, whether they just want to be a better instructor or they're training for a specialist accreditation or exams. There's all of the national online resources, the national standards, the performance guides, and then the matrix as well. But what you're alluding to here is the First Chair podcast, which gets me through a lot of, in the Northwest, the resorts are not close by. So a lot of our travel requires us to travel, anywhere from 2 to 8 hours to attend events. So that's one way that I keep up on what's current within PSIA-AASI is looking to the First Chair podcast. And I really realized that there's some really good ideas, and it's good to hear what's great about it is you hear different voices and different perspectives on things and kind of, I tend to bucket myself as somebody not very creative. So I kind of run out of what are engaging ideas of clinics that we can offer our instructors. So I, drawn from some of the topics from the First Chair podcast to offer our instructors.
Which I gotta say, Jen, I've never had such butterflies before doing a training when you actually sent out a promo for a training and you put a link to the podcast in it. I was like,
Yeah. No pressure. Come train with George Thomas, the voice of the First Chair podcast.
I'm just asking questions. It's the people who have knowledge that are answering them.
Well, as I've shared with one of our other trainers, I said, well, it's no better way to get better at a topic than to present on it.
That's actually very true. So again, you've really developed a culture, and there's a difference between offering training and developing a culture. Can you get into the difference and what Meadows is really building here?
You can offer people clinics, but it kind of the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink out of the water. And we try to encourage a personal invitation. That's how I got started. I started at our ski school at 32, never having taken a lesson before. And I was walking up the stairs to our locker room and somebody grabbed me and said, no, you need to come out and clinic with us. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was, without that personal invitation, I wouldn't have gotten involved. And so we really try, it starts with our first season instructor training and our rehire training. We try to make it engaging and exciting, and people are learning. And from that learning, they realize it makes their job a little easier and hopefully draw them in. But we want to invite people. We want people to be part of our team. Our motto here at Mountain Hood Meadows is My Mountain Home. And no better way to get people involved than to invite them, come into our mountain home and our culture and join us and learn and grow with us.
You've had all that growth in 3 years. You were
graduated. Yeah, right. Just last year.
35th birthday. Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a journey.
Amazing.
I think that's a journey, and that's a conversation I've had with people around our our region that I think we need to help people understand is that PSIA and AASI are providing education for instructors to grow and create a career path within the industry. But that takes time, as it would in any other profession. To become an expert doesn't happen in 2 years. And I think to help people, the listeners, realize that the growth is really a journey. It's over time. And I know that there can be some debate on the 10,000 hours and 10-year rule to become an expert within a field. But, I think it's pretty close. I think it takes time. And I think, some people may move across that pathway and that journey faster because of their background in other areas. Mine, for instance, was in the fitness field. So I'm still coaching people and teaching people how to move their bodies, very transferable to skiing. And so my path was a little quicker than some. Some people who have race background and coaching backgrounds might move through our certification process because of that education. But if people are brand new to our field, they haven't ever taught something before or not taught a sport and are learning the sport themselves, they might expect that journey, if their goal is to achieve a level 3, might be longer. 3 years to achieve a level 3 is an exception to the rule, not the norm.
And PSIA-AASI has really set up a pathway to do that. And we are going to get into that in later discussions and shows. But I like that you brought that up. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice in the Northwest, and then moving to Colorado and working in the Rocky Mountain region, it was very different for me because we have night skiing at so many areas here. And so the areas that I had worked at, you'd finish your workday, take a little break, and then you could go out for a training. And not having night skiing, that was how I started. So it was really strange then to go to areas where you're closed at 4. And what do you notice? Is there a lot of night training at Meadows? Do you have a lot of end of day training, or is that something that's changing?
The majority of our training is night training. And the reason for that is our primary focus is serving our guests. And if we're stealing all of our instructors to go to like afternoon trainings, then we have less instructors available to provide to our guests. So we focus on providing training after the bulk of our lessons will come during the daytime. So yes, we focus on night training, but now that our nights are coming to an end, we shift to afternoon training. But I've also talked to really great programs around the country that, they do their training a little different than us, and they will have a day of the week where they focus on a certain topic. Like every Monday might be movement analysis. And so you can just plan, hey, I need to work and develop my skills in that area. I'm going to plan on Mondays. And so we're always trying to fine tune and, are we going to shift? I think something that we'll be adding more, we've done it in the past, is adding an opportunity for some, at the end of the day, indoor training for those instructors that are, maybe they had a tiring day full of lessons, whether it was, the lesson itself, took a lot of energy, or the lesson and the weather, all of those components. Is let's offer some indoor training. It's hard getting out of our parking lot at the end of the day. So, hey, come in, we'll provide you some education inside that doesn't require you to be on snow any longer. So we've done that in the past. I think we'll be bringing that back next year. And we utilize Zoom. That was something that was beneficial. Our instructors are really spread out in a 2 to 3 hour radius of Mount Hood itself. And so when we used to do movement analysis evenings in person, which were great because that helps build community and camaraderie, because you're in person, it's a different dynamic when you get to engage in person with people. But COVID and Zoom provided the opportunity to open up our movement analysis to our instructors that live on the coast that weren't going to come in for a 2-hour evening clinic on Monday night for movement analysis. Now they can tune in from the comfort of their own home. So that's been beneficial, and we've been able to broaden what we offer our instructors here.
Anything you want to say in conclusion before you check in and see how Sun is doing?
No, I think, it's just really fun investing in our instructors and giving back to the industry what others poured into myself and the rest of our training team. So I just hope we continue to grow that. But I think the key to being able to grow that and our training is the personal invitation to our instructors to join us.
Jen Lockwood, thanks very much for taking the time to chat with us on First Chair.
Yeah, thanks for asking me, George.
From the PSIA-AASI Satellite Studios at Mount Hood Meadows, I'm George Thomas.